Hey everybody, Rich here, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. I'm sorry this is going to be such a terrible teaser, but I'm doing a bit of experimental archaeology here. I am recreating a type of hive that was called the Long Idea hive that was popular from the 1870s through 1910, 1915, that era. And as I was in the process of building this hive, I happened to notice that yes, I'm using old lumber that was retrieved out of the trash, and that there were lots of little crevices and such inside the hive where small hive beetles could hide. And that was bothering me. And then as the shell was sitting there, I had to do a steam extraction of wax from a cutout that I had done. And I had a batch of hot slum gum. This is another batch of hot slum gum right here. Well, it's not hot anymore. This is a batch of slum gum. But I want to show you what I did with the hot from the steamer, 2 minutes out of the steamer slum gum. I have been steam processing the wax from the rescue that we did from the hive that fell on the ground. This is the wax from the good parts of the comb. Separately from that, I wanted to do the wax from the comb that was full of maggots and such that I put in the soapy water to kill the maggots, and then the next day I put in the freezer. And so here's the slum gum from that. I just turned off the steamer. So this is super hot, super soft, super easy to work with. And what I'm going to do with it is fill in all the cracks here on the inside around the hive. Not for temperature control or anything like that, but so that small hive beetles won't have any place to live. I was going to use a artificial material to do this, but then when I started processing this morning and I realized what this slum gum was going to be, remember there's still lots of wax in here and such, probably a bit of propolis too. And one thing I've noticed is bees, if they see something like this, they don't go after it to do anything with it. They accept that it is a part of the hive and they leave it be. So look at all the cracks we just filled in using slum gum. Hot slum gum. So we're not going to have problems with small hive beetles getting in cracks on the inside of the hive.
And what will this be like when it dries?
Hard as a rock. Well, there'll be a certain tackiness to it, and I'll probably spray another layer of propolis over it.
But it won't flake off?
It won't flake. It's going to be well adhered. But just an off-the-wall use for slum gum, if you have a nice soft slab of slum gum and you need to fill in gaps somewhere. Now this isn't structural. I'm not using this to fill in a gap on the outside of the hive because it wouldn't weather the same.
And these gaps are just from where you put the two pieces of wood together.
Yeah. All the material in here, as you'll learn in the video when we do it, is all scrap material that was picked up around the neighborhood. This is old wood. It's warped and twisted every which way. There's no such thing as making it all straight. I don't have planers and edgers and things like that, so I just kind of have to piece it together and parts it together, but the bees don't care. To them, this is home sweet home, and what a marvelous condo it is. But these little cracks and crevices in here would be good for small hive beetles. So we just want to seal them up, and we might just as well seal it up with perfectly, completely natural material from the bees. Now, there's a spot. I've got a spot up here that has a pretty good gap. This is already starting to cool down so much that it's starting to get sticky. I had stopped the steamer about 30 seconds before the camera started here. So you can see how quickly this stuff can cool. Oh yeah, I forgot about this spot down here. Now that it's cooled enough for me to touch it, I can stuff it in this spot. This is kind of the same idea as when I have little holes and gaps in the side of a hive where the bees have kind of chewed it out. I learned a long time ago to just take some propolis, pop it in my mouth, chew it, and then just shove it in there like a piece of bubble gum into the holes. And the bees respect that. They don't go trying to eat it back out. It's like, oh, okay, somebody propolis this up, and they just respect it. It's quite funny, really. It will make them stop trying to eat out an area immediately. Just a weird little trick. And let's see, do we have any place else before everything cools down here? Let me peek it around from this angle. No, that's pretty slim. Okay, well, then I'm just going to take the rest of this just like you would use it in a swarm trap. I'm just going to make it ever so humble. There's no place like home. Like I said, this is a one-off thing. It happens that I had some really nasty comb. I do love the steam extractor. You can do things that would be difficult and problematic any other way. There are no problem with steam. I want to show you something really cool. So remember, this hive was built inside of a dead curled palm frond. And I was able to take these big chunks of palm frond, just stick them inside the steam extractor with their bottoms in this, and just let all the wax melt off of them. If you say, but Rich, what about all that wax? That's not wax, that's all propolis. I've got a whole bunch of this stuff because what they did with that crispy, brittle leaf was they just coated the whole thing with propolis to make a hive. So you have all this thick propolis here where bees are going to do what bees have to do. That steam extractor gives you a nice material. Yeah, it's too cool to do any more with this. So I'll probably take the heat gun, play it over this a little bit, smooth it out a little bit more. But that filled up all the cracks on the inside where small hive beetles might have found a place to hide. So now that I've shown you that neat little trick that just good timing happened to show up that way, in the next few weeks, you're going to be learning a whole lot more about the Poppleton hive, the strange, weird, arcane frames that it uses, and how we're going to manage it. So stay tuned, like and subscribe.